Story 1. Am I the a-hole for purchasing my guy friend his dream present, outshining his girlfriend? My guy friend, Tom, has been one of my best friends since college. We're in our mid-20s now and are both currently in committed relationships with long-term partners. I've never had feelings for Tom, nor has he ever had feelings for me. Since college, Tom has been a huge watch fanatic. 2 months ago, he was showing me this stunning vintage watch and made an offhand comment about how he would die of joy if he somehow got his hands on one. Very coincidentally, I was in New York City a few weeks ago and stumbled upon this watch store that just so happened to have the exact one Tom wanted. It was expensive, I won't lie, at about $2,500, but I decided to get it for his 21st birthday. To me, it was basically fate, lol. My boyfriend and I do very well financially, so this was something that I could personally afford and wanted to buy for Tom, especially knowing how happy it'd make him. Tom has a tradition of hosting a dinner party at his place for his birthday and then following that up with cake and gift opening. I told him before the dinner that my gift was a huge surprise and asked if he could save it for last, and he agreed. His girlfriend ends up going first, and she gets him this gorgeous sweater that she crocheted for him and a book that he's been wanting, which I thought was super thoughtful and lovely. Last, it was my gift. When he opened it and saw what it was, he literally screamed, hopped over a bunch of people, and squeezed me in this huge bear hug. I was so happy to see him happy. It genuinely filled me with so much joy. He even got emotional, and I saw him swipe a few tears. He also said that it was the best gift he'd ever received. The whole time, his girlfriend was only slightly smiling and stayed quiet. The next morning, I get a text from his girlfriend that essentially said that although she appreciated my thoughtful gift, she thought that it was a bit out of touch and lacking awareness. She admitted that Tom had also told her about the watch and she wanted to get it for him, but it was way out of her budget. She accused me of knowing this, I had no idea, and still getting it to rub it in her face and to outshine her. She finished by saying how she felt like I had overstepped a boundary by getting the gift and would appreciate me not doing anything similar to it again in the future. I responded and told her that while I could see her point of view, I was just trying to do a nice thing for a close friend of mine. I asked her, wouldn't you rather he got the gift and seen the happiness that it brought him than him not getting it at all? She responded that that happiness was only shared between me and Tom and no one else, that she felt hurt by my actions. Only my boyfriend knows about this and he's on my side, but thinking through it all again, I do see how I could have overstepped, but my boyfriend says that it's not my job to apologize for her insecurities. So, am I the a-hole here? It would take a pretty incredible leap for someone who has gotten someone a $2,500 watch that they've dreamed of to be considered the a-hole in a situation. And you're not. You're not the a-hole. You're a good friend. You're very secure financially, so it was a reasonable thing. Clearly, Tom is a friend that means a lot to you, and that's great that you were able to do this for him. I mean, $2,500 for a gift, even in the best of times for me, that is wild. But if it's something you can easily afford and everything, that's great. And there's nothing wrong with friends doing that for friends. I'm at least glad she didn't go the route of like, you're trying to steal Tom from me or something, because that's a whole thing I just can't get into. But also, folks, you do have to realize that you can't provide everything for your significant other, and it's okay for them to get joy and fulfillment from other people outside of your relationship. Even if it is this big grand gesture that you can't really compete with, your relationship and intimacy and love for each other more than makes up for that, or at least it should. And so I know that this girlfriend is just coming from a place of insecurity, and financial insecurity is a very real thing for some people, and I sympathize with that. But I think she has to realize that you're not trying for anything here. You're not trying to outshine her. You're just trying to make Tom happy, and I think that's great. And she should realize that she can make Tom happy in so many ways that you and no one else can. So that should be good enough. Story 2. Entitled kid steals my wet towel turban, and entitled mom freaks out when she realizes I'm a social worker. Right. So this happened about 5 years ago when I was working as a newly qualified social worker. I know, lynch mob me. I don't anymore. It was a nightmare. It has been a rough morning, and long story short, I had spit and vomit on me. A pretty standard practice. I kept a spare set of court clothes in my car, so I had something to change into, but I felt pretty disgusting and wanted to shower. So I took an early lunch and went to my gym nearby the office to shower and change. I showered, came out, and put my hair up into a towel turban and walked to go back to the lockers. Changing area was empty except for one kid, a boy about 8 or 9. A bit weird for him to be alone, but I assumed his mom must have been in the only occupied stall, so I didn't think too much of it. I smiled to acknowledge him and got to my locker to grab my things to change into. At this point, the boy, entitled kid, looked at me, pointed at my towel turban, and said, "What's that?" Me. "Oh, it's a towel turban. Pretty neat, huh? It stays up better than a regular towel." "Cool," and started to reach for my head. Excuse me, what are you doing?" "I just want to see it." No, I'm using it, sorry." At this point in my life, I'm pretty used to kids being a bit inappropriate, and it's my job to make sure they understand, but I wasn't expecting this. He looked a bit peed and went back to his mom's phone. I get dressed quickly and get my things to go over to the mirror and take the turban off to dry my hair. I'm flipping my hair around to get it dried, and I notice that this kid comes up to the mirror, then leaves again. I think nothing of it and finish drying my hair, turn the hairdryer off, reach for my turban, and it isn't there. I know what he's done, and I whip around to look at him, and he's turning a shade of red, but staring fixedly on his phone so as to ignore me. I'm trying to remain calm, but Christ, I've been spat at, vomited on, and now someone has stolen my towel turban. I walk back over and do my best. I've had enough of this bullcrappery voice and say, "Please return the turban, now." He keeps ignoring me, so I repeat, "Please return the turban, now." He's gone a huge shade of red, refuses to look at me, and mumbles something like, "I didn't take it." I've had it at this point, so go over to the only occupied stall and knock on the door. "Excuse me, is this your son out here?" Entitled mom opens the door and looks at me thoroughly annoyed. "What?" "Is this your son? He's taken my towel turban. I have asked for it back, but he is not returning it. Please ask him to hand it back, and I'll not inform the gym staff." "What the F is a towel turban?" I start to explain, but entitled kid says it's a hair towel that stays up better than a normal towel. We both look at him, and she says, "Okay, so what do you want?" "I want my towel turban back, please." "Well, he wouldn't just take something. You obviously just lost it. You shouldn't go around accusing people because you lose things." Me, getting annoyed. "Well, he will have no problem emptying his bag. If he has it, he can just hand it back, and if I'm mistaken, I will apologize." Entitled mom looks at entitled kid, and it's obvious to anyone that he's lying, but she just says, "Don't be effing stupid. I'm not letting you rummage through his things like he's some kind of thief. Look at you. You're harassing a little boy in a changing room." I inhale to try and stop my eyes doing a 360-degree roll and say, "I'm not asking to touch anything. I'm asking for you to go through his bag for my turban. That is all. If you're not willing, I will go to the staff and ask them to sort this out. I know it's just a friggin' towel turban, but theft is theft, and it's pink and cute, and I'm not letting anyone have it." "So you're threatening me now?" I know a circular argument when I hear one, so I go to the door, lean out, and call for someone to come and sort it out. Enter gym trainer dude. GTD. "What's going on?" He looks between the three of us, and the kid has gone back to staring a hole through the phone, and entitled mom positions herself between gym trainer dude and entitled kid. "This crazy bee is harassing my son and trying to go through his bag. She needs throwing out. That isn't what happened. Her son has taken my towel turban, and I would like it returned." I just keep looking at this kid, and gym trainer dude says, "Okay, so what happened, mate? Did you take the towel?" Entitled kid mumbles something about how I must have lost it, and entitled mom jumps in and says, "See, he didn't take it. He's so traumatized he can barely say anything." She then bends down to him and hugs him, saying, "It'll be all right." And she won't let me get away with this, very dramatically. I look at gym trainer dude and explain the whole event, and he says, "Okay, so why don't we just check his bag?" Entitled kid starts dramatically wailing, and entitled mom starts ranting about how this is harassment. Gym trainer dude looks uncomfortable and says, "That's literally the only way I think we can solve this." Entitled mom then stands up and tries to push past me, but I'm not moving, and the room is small, so fails. She starts swearing and thrusts the kid's backpack at gym trainer dude, saying, "Fine, check it. He hasn't taken it, and when you don't find it, I want her thrown out. You apologize and get the manager." Entitled kid wails. Gym trainer dude obviously finds the pink wet towel turban in the bag. He picks it up and kinda just looks at it. Entitled kid wails even more and tries to grab it, but gym trainer dude holds it out of his reach. "Right, so this is yours?" "Yes, thank you." I stuffed the coveted turban towel into my bag and get out my car keys and ID lanyard. As I put the lanyard over my head, something audibly clicks in entitled mother's head. That's a social worker ID. She yanks entitled kid's arm, snatches the bag from gym trainer dude, and I move to let her pass. Gym trainer dude looks super confused, and I explain that she must have been embarrassed that her son stole my turban. But I knew she was panicking because she realized what my job was and that her son was out of school stealing pink wet turban towels. What a weird thing to get so defensive about, entitled mom. Like, how hard is it to just go, "Yeah, we'll just check the bag. I'm sure he didn't take it." Like, why is this such an outlandish thing? Parents, don't treat your children like perfect little sweetie pie angels that could never possibly do anything wrong and put them up on this ridiculous pedestal, because once you put a kid on a pedestal, they don't want to get down. Yes, you should be supportive of your kid and try to believe them and stuff like that, for sure, but there needs to be a line. There's a point where you're just turning that kid into an entitled monster. And it's such an easy thing. I don't understand why sometimes these entitled people have to get so angry and defensive about just the simplest things, especially when other people are like, "Look, seriously, this is all we have to do. I'm not going to try and like get him in trouble. I just want it back is all." And she's throwing a fit. Like, seriously, just calm down and act like an adult, lady. Story 3. Today I effed up by delivering for DoorDash. So, I've been delivering for DoorDash on the side for a few weeks now. Today I had a typical order from a local sushi joint. I saw the order for a fellow named Tom. Funny thing, the second half of the order is exactly to the T what my girlfriend always gets. 2 dragon rolls, extra sriracha on the side, and a large iced tea. She's very particular. She also has a coworker named Tom she's mentioned, and she said she spent the night up in Denver with her sister last night for a girls' night. Picked up the order and was on my way, pulled up to a way nice apartment, knocked on the door, and a very handsome fellow named Tom answered. Handed him the food and heard a familiar voice say, "Make sure there's sriracha." It was my now ex-girlfriend in a t-shirt and panties. I said nothing. She said nothing. The door closed, and well, now I'm single. And on to my next dash. Better make that money if I'm going to be back on Tinder. Too long didn't read, delivered a DoorDash to my now ex-girlfriend while she was cheating on me with her coworker. Tall, handsome man with a nice butt apartment. I mean, to be fair, you did not F up. Your girlfriend effed up. In a big way. And I am sorry that you had to find out in that way. I'm sure seeing that name Tom and seeing that very specific order, you probably had that feeling in your gut the whole time getting it and driving over there. And you kept telling yourself, no, I'm overthinking things. Lots of people like lots of stuff. It's just a coincidence. And it super wasn't. And that super sucks. And yeah, you know what? I think you handled it maybe in what is probably the best way long term, which is to just say nothing and walk away. Like, if she has nothing better to say or whatever, yeah, like, there's no point in fighting or arguing. She's not worth your time, you know? She really isn't. And you're better off going out and finding someone who's going to respect you and love you and not cheat on you. So, I am sorry, but boy, I at least hope they tipped really well. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.